Students and scholars, teachers and trainers, those who are listening from the field of science, religion, spirituality, arts, commerce, and engineering. Dear friends, listening, religion of God, an innovative concept for unity of world religions and mitigation of global warming. The new concept, christened by religion of God, an abbreviation of common addendum of minimum precepts. The suffix 21 signifying the count of precepts as well as the 21st century of these concepts. Innovation, introduction and acceptance has been planned under inspiration from God as an addendum to each of the different world religions. It can be considered as religion of God, means confluence of all religions, in line with the advice from him in his letters introduced in this book. Now you are listening about all religions confluence, how all religions were intermingled, confluenced by Lord on this earth. Our human body, which is made by 5 elements: air, fire, soil, sky and water. These 5 elements are the creator of this universe as well our human body. And if we are not friendly, we do not treat familiarly with these 5 elements, these 5 elements creates destruction, devastation, calamity in the whole universe. So we are to keep our lifestyle natural. At the outset, it must be clarified that this innovative concept, the religion of God, considers all religions as sacred, which have and will continue to serve the purpose. These were originally intended to serve. Common and main teaching of all the religions is to serve the people. Service to man, service to God. Humanity is our love, humanity is our caste, humanity is our religion. As its nomenclature indicates, it is suggested tangible addendum to complement and supplement the precepts already contained in the different religions of the world, and aim primarily at giving a feeling of commonality without causing even an iota of disturbance. This innovative concept of this discussion has come about an account of divine inspiration through a letter from God, means copy reproduced in this book, as well as an account of the outcome of a research, all of which led to a feeling of an urgent need for a reorientation of religious precepts by way of One is maximizing focus on some of the important precepts commonly propagated in every religion, means such as doing good deeds, refraining from intoxicants, being merciful towards animals, and so on. So, teachings fundamentally are the same of all religions. Principles and doctrines of the lifestyle are almost the same, but as per the differentiations, as per in change of varieties, climates, cultures, these changes are occurred naturally. But the presence of Lord is everywhere. As we study in the form of the waves of sound and in the rays of light, we can feel and we feel the presence of Lord in every place where there is no light, where there is no sound even, which was proved strongly by Swami Vivekananda in 1893 to the worldly people by saying that, my brothers and sisters of the America, how beautiful and at that time, those who were at that time, how heartily and culturally these words were produced by our forefathers, foretellers, forecasters, those who came first on this land for the social reforming in all the holy religions. And he created unification and compromise between Rama and Krishna, Lord Rama and Lord Krishna. So he invented and innovated a religion, Ram Kishan Mission. Addition of certain new precepts which have gained significant relevance in modern times, means such as environment protection, and could not have been envisaged by the founders in the past. They have recently, although disjointedly, been raised by several religious and social work leaders at different times, at different platforms. Different autobiographers, founders, initiator, beginner and starters. In the form of human being, they got birth, they took birth in the different religions for teaching us, for making us able to return to the true home, which is the celestial home of soul. Our soul which has come from the eternal abode, and it can meet again with that super spiritual power of God. But it needs a repetition of the sound and light. If we have tongue, power of speaking, then we can repeat the words of God through the holy scriptures by going in any religious place. And the super place of this holy words is our holy body, that is provided by the God himself to us. So we are to understand the concept of oneness and equality of the different religions. Addition of certain new precepts which have gained significant relevance in modern times and could not have been envisaged by founders or prophets of religion in the past. These have recently, although disjointedly, been raised by several religious and social world leaders at different times, at different platforms. Whether they have used the different platforms, different times, different places and different actions for making us understand about the uniqueness of the Lord. God, who is incomparable, matchless, and these words are used only and only for comparable on this earth. Minimizing emphasis on those precepts that were laid down 1500 to 2500 years ago, which have lost relevance in modern times. Since these are now necessarily enforced and better taken care by the state, means not as not to steal or not to murder another human and so on. Of 21 precepts under it also refrains from any metaphysical issues and ritualistic practices, both of which vary from religion to religion and are better taken care of in different regions. One can well continue to receive emotional or spiritual sustenance on the counts from the religion of one's following, depending on one's birth, upbringing, and beliefs. Once this repeat addendum, it reveals acceptance by all religions and is introduced through an action plan. Dow. It will all help in creating a same balance or feeling of unity of world religions between, because the features of it will become common to all religions. As we have different parts of body externally given by God for the different functions, and internally we have also different varieties of the different organs in our human body, and we cannot work properly, we cannot think, speak, read, write, listen without any particular missing of the organ. We can take the example of a garden. In a garden we see there are different type of flowers with having different size, shape, color, fragrance, figure. So these are the varieties that we find in the garden. Similarly, God created this all land, all world with the varieties. The man's duty to concentrate upon one in all in one. God is one, who He was, who He is, and who He will in past, present, and future. Even He cannot be classified as per the classification of time, place, and action. He is one, He was one, and He will one, creating a same balance of feeling of unity of world's religions. Achieving lasting world peace in the medium or long term through development of a conducive environment where every religionist will have respect for every other religionist, based on a minimum awareness of the goodness of every other religion, and more importantly on the feeling of oneness because of the common link of it. So this speech that you are listening is really wonderful, amazing time and miraculous, magical, musical time that God provided us for healing us, for providing us everlasting soothing effect of our mind and heart, and more significantly achieving a northward shift in the status of our Mother Nature through environment protection. It is the nature that nurtures us like a mother, treats us like a doctor, teaches us like a teacher, guides us like a super mentor of our life. So nature is multidimensional, multifaceted, multi-sided. It plays great roles for the healthy lifestyle of the human beings. So we are to be very close with nature. Nature never mistreat and deceive us, but it provides its lab for the formation of our great healthy, wealthy generation and society, for the betterment and upliftment, for the recreation, regeneration and operation of our nation and society, even the worldly peace, it is greatly required. Communion with nature. And more significantly, achieving a northward shift in the status of our Mother Nature through environment protection. You would sincerely understand that many religious minded people who, on one hand, talk in public about oneness of all religions and oneness of God, on the other hand, when closeted in their own congregation, maintain that their own religion is greater and their God is higher and their prophet the best as a prerequisite to our concept speech. Therefore, our aim is to ensure a level playing field by creating awareness and understanding among people about the basic and equal goodness of each religion as provided in the preceding chapters dedicated to each religion, so that the enlightenment thus obtained facilitates one to develop real sense of understanding about the goodness and equality of all religions, followed by respect for them all. What is concept Camp 21 and the related action plan DOW? As a common link, this concept aims at religious globalization and improved environment to help humanity see more peaceful times and to create conditions for posterity to live better with Mother Nature. Everyone generally agrees that all religions are great and none bigger or smaller than the other. Any religion, any caste, color, creed, ritual, system, practice cannot be compared with other. If you want to compare, then you can compare yourself, your present with your past, your future with your present, where there is the availability of presence of Lord. God Himself is present at that place. Then you will know all the blessings and grace of God. It is very general concept that we find varieties as per time, place and action, culture, system, society, ritual. These classifications, diversities are naturally found on this earth because of the change in environment and change in atmosphere, climate. So if we are natural, we are spending our life friendly with air, fire, soil, sky and water, then we become the natural learner of our holy religions. Everyone generally agree that all religions are great, but bigger or smaller than the other. Differences are incidental and are actually later creations of the followers and much too unimportant when seen in the light of the pillars of eternal truth and precepts propagated in those religions. Yours sincerely have, with divine inspiration, evolved this concept termed Camp 21 and an action plan termed DOW, aimed at lasting world peace. You are watching, observing, listening the truth of science and spirituality. At the world level, you are watching there are two developed world powers, those who are fighting each other for the materialistic things, for their selfishness, for their expectations and hopes. They are fighting each other. But the true lesson of the Indian culture, which was given by Swami Vivekananda to the whole worldly people, that If you are to do the work that is unexpectedly and selflessly, you are to work for others. It is your first duty. If a man will do this work unexpectedly and selflessly, hopelessly, then God's hope, God's desire never is less than the man's desire. Never think selfish. Always do welfare, humanitarian works for others, because it is these are the ornaments of the humanity. Humanity, humility, brotherhood, sympathy, compassion, mercy, pity. These are the ornaments and decorations of the human soul. So we must understand these spiritual values of our nation for spreading out the true message to the worldly people. Every scholar and learner who has studied and who was studied and who is studying in India, he is perfect in itself because of its religious clearances, religious proficiencies. Even in concise, in brief, in precise, they can make it understand to the worldly child, those who are unaware about the piece of word. Abbreviation of common addendum of minimum precepts 21, denoting the number of precepts contained in the addendum as well as the 21st century of this innovation, its introduction and envisaged acceptance. It is a simple incorporation of precepts of eternal validity as propagated in different religions plus a few precepts of current relevance added, which pertain to social interaction and environment protection. What's the first aim? Duty, requirement, motto, motive, objective. That is to maintain the spiritual standard of our atmosphere and environment. This nature provides us, gives us, helps us where there is a number of obstacles, hindrances, frustrations, depressions in all the positions and conditions of our human life. We have the company of nature for healing ourselves. Free of cost, nature provided us all kinds of gifts, and we are to thank the God or Lord who is the maker of our nature. When appended to each of the different world religions, should not only complement and supplement each of those religions, but more importantly, it should help create a fathomable semblance for the first time of commonality or oneness or unity, a desire which has often been expressed by several world leaders. Only such a tangible feeling of common link can effectively wipe out feelings of alienation among followers of different religions, ultimately leading to unity of world religions in a true sense and creating an environment conducive to lasting world peace. Initially and ultimately, the aim of our all religions is to maintain spiritual standard of our country, of their country, by creating and recreating peace in the world. Unspoken, unread, unwritten, unlearned are more powerful than read, learned, written, read. Strongly propounded by John Keats in his poem that unspoken and unheard music is more sweeter than heard. Why did and why do and why will our old forefathers, foreteller, forecaster, messenger, those who came first on this land were starter of this different religions, explained, described by saying that nature is our true friend. It is the hidden and implied talent of the nature that we have in the not only externally but as well internally, our whole holy organs that are given by God communicate each other, transform messages and ideas each other. Today we are using mobile. Mobile itself can be and was copied from the human body. This human body itself is a mobile which has the different functions, and its software was copied from our human mind. And how is the maker of mind? We must think on it. He is Lord God. Ultimately, all the ministers, doctors, advocates, advertisers, administrators, technicians, digitologians, all the branches of science, medical science, reaches at the height that there is a power, who he is and who he will, is the everlasting power, endless power. Cures us and reveals and heals us from the harmful natural disasters, natural diseases, natural evils that are always covering our human soul. Avariceness, falsification, lust, greed. So we are to save our human soul from these negative things by keeping ourselves in doing meditation, by the repetition of words, or by speechless meditation. We can reach at the height which is the next word of our human soul. It is in such a conducive environment that religious differences will become non-issues, and every human being will have enough basis for respecting every other religion, respective of her or his own religious affiliations. An utopia thought which comes to mind is that one day people should be able to shout from the top of the Eiffel Tower in Paris and the Empire State Building in New York, and the Qutub Minar in New Delhi and other high-rise sports world over, saying we belong to the same camp. Action Plan Dove. Action Plan Dove is about the groundwork required to create awareness. Bottom to top, root to fruit. Our present Prime Minister, Saint Dr. Narendra Modi ji, proved and appealed, advocated to the worldly people by researching that a man can bring an oceanic change by re-establishment, recreation, regeneration. Understanding and respect for the intrinsic simplicity and nobility of the different world religions in their pure form. Immediately after this phase of preliminary efforts, Camp 21 could be aggressively pushed for its being finally accepted as an addendum by all religions, so as to ultimately achieve the envisioned state of lasting world peace, preceded by a feeling of commonality. But before enumerating each of the 21 precepts comprising Camp 21 in the next chapter, let us delve on some issues that have made it imperative to propagate this new concept of Camp 21. Why we need a new concept like the truth of science and spirituality? Simply put, because God wants it, simple and plain, and because this can be the seed that might grow into the basis of world peace and welfare. Something most enlightened religious and social leaders have been conceptualizing until now. Issues such as religious practices or rituals, which might have been relevant in those primitive times, need a rational and urgent review to assess their relevance today and to incorporate modern issues and problems such as environment protection, universal brotherhood, and so on in our modern religious outlook. Religion about flora and fauna. In caring atmosphere pollution free and healthy approach, holistic approach. In Hinduism, flora and fauna have always been an integral part of the religious practices. This was given a certain shape years ago by one Guru Jambeshwar in North India, who founded the Bishnoi faith, means Bishnoi meaning 29, which propagated 29 precepts, particularly including the precepts related to conservation of nature, a commandment against killing of certain rare species of animals, against felling of trees, etc. Several precepts which were given prime importance a millennium or two ago and whose prime position in different remains unchanged till date, such as not to steal, not to murder, and so on, must be treated as dead wood. Because in modern times there is no need of moral instruction, means precepts on these, as these issues are necessarily taken care of by state laws which deter people from such anti-social activities. These are imperatives, religion or no religion. Therefore, religion need to longer keep themselves burdened with such surplus baggage, and the same could be given lesser importance without affecting the overall significance and importance of a religion. With the world becoming a global village where economies are being unified, rivers are being interlinked at continental levels, and internet in bringing people closer, how can religion remain behind? With people of different religion and of different regions coming closer and becoming better aware of each other. If it is but natural to expect that the concept of a real unification of world religions also fructifies. The concept of action, the concept of Camp 21 action plan DOW are an effort in this direction, which while attempting to bring about a semblance of unification where individual religions remains as they are, but at the same time get a common ground for understanding and appreciation to give rise to feeling of oneness. Nature and natural laws provide us, provides us, give us, help us in the formation, in the creation, recreation, regeneration of our new world, new creation of the new nation. Through the concept of the Genesis, we can read it. Camp 21 plus Dove is an idea, an intellectual modern movement whose time has come to register a paradigm shift in how the new generation would like to see their respective religions in the modern day light, with issues of modern relevance also highlighted. It is true and accepted by the holy religion Christianity that nature is our God. Who is in the nature? Firstly, our human body made by air, fire, soil, sky, and water. These are in the form of God with us. And the nature of the soul, that is the God. God is the nature of our soul. For the meeting, communication of the soul and God, it requires the presence of light and sound. But if we are blessed and graced by God supernaturally, then there is no need of these things, because He Himself is the Creator. He is He. Nothing can be compared with Him. Everything else could continue to remain in fine print, over which priests and religious scholars can continue introspection and speculations. If inter-religion and intra-religion rivalries continue, there would be no peace, for which present-day leaders will be held responsible and accountable. However, those leaders who are today content with this status quo and are in favor of no action, no invention, and are therefore responsible for the damage, can find comfort in the fact that by the time their complicity is discovered by posterity, they will be long gone. It is precisely for this reason that many present day leaders prefer to procrastinate with a couldn't care less attitude to the need of the day towards the real needs of the day. But they must ponder over the fact that such an attitude of their own predecessors has already wreaked havoc in areas such as religion, cultural heritage, environment, etc. Lessons must be learnt and timely actions taken before it is too late and things go irreversibly bad. What does humankind really need? What does humankind really need? Time and again we discuss the issue of our human life that should be totally dependent on the research of inside the body, while not only closing the eyes but by closing the all nine senses. When we reach at the 10th sense of the soul, by concentrating in the midbrain, we just concentrate upon the 10th sense of mind, then our mind and heart starts reading, it starts journey, it starts traveling inside organ to organ in the human body. Do we need to become a religious ourselves to become compassionate, forgiving and respectful towards elders and caring towards environment, or become a society that continues to remain at a level where we keep ourselves preoccupied with classical rituals and practices and act smart only over metaphysical issues related to God, the afterlife, and so on, and continue with the inter and intra religious quarrels and neglect God's gift of nature. Both options are open, the chosen is ours. God, who created the earth in the form of air, fire, soil, sky, and water, and through these elements, He created the different birds, plants, trees, creatures in the form of 84 lakh species around us we have. And even insects are so small that we cannot see by the naked eyes, and that are required the and micro and macro type of world and nature God created around the human being, around this human body, for helping it as a helper. And if man will not care this atmosphere, environment, nature, then man is not faithful towards his life and others. And what perspective of religion do we or should we leave for God's future children? Today, the world's religious leaders are fortunately in a position to decide. World's religious leaders. Who are the world's religious leaders? The sun in the daytime, the moon, the stars, the 9 planets. These are the world's religious leaders that are always with us, and the presence of these we can feel in the nature of every internal human body and human mind. They must ponder over it with all the seriousness this issue deserves, and initiate and support any intellectual movement in the direction of a modern approach towards creating a feeling of oneness among the people of the world. All the priests of the different religions, those who are worshipping and those who worshipped and will worship, totally 100% they are dependent upon the word. The innovative concept Camp 21 is one such intellectual movement that can help achieve the desired object of unity of humankind and world religions and lasting world peace, all within lifetime of the present day leaders. Of course, this will need an aggressive action plan like DOW, where issues that are relevant to modern times are given a go by, those of eternal relevance are given a sharper focus, and those that have modern relevance are added. If adequately supported and followed to a logical conclusion, the truth of science and spirituality, Camp 21 plus DOW can usher us in an era of sustainable world peace, where following followers of different religions will not only be compatible with followers of every other religion, but also be able to develop a real feeling of oneness And as mentioned earlier, we can achieve the utopian scene one day when people can shout from top of Eiffel Tower in Paris, the Empire State Building in New York, or the Qutub Minar in New Delhi and say, "We belong to the same camp." The concept Camp 21, its elements, and the action plan DOW. Several world leaders, religious, political, as well as social, have fun stated a desire for a dialogue between different religions, almost aimed at unity of world religions. But regretfully, no one has ever qualified her or his statement towards an actualization of such a desire, and therefore it has remained a sterile concept. Earlier, certain attempts at making one single world religion have failed because an all important fact was ignored, and that is that no single religion can ever become a religion for entire human race, because each existing religion caters to the peculiarities pertaining to the race from which it sprang, and thousands of years has become an integral part of their psyche and their life. In fact, it has gone into their genes. Attempts at making one religion to become universal would therefore not make much sense. Only the dovetailing of an assemblage of significant and relevant precepts like Camp 21, which is based more on practical, scientific, and modern knowledge rather than on metaphysical knowledge. About metaphysics, we study the poem John Donne in English literature. John Donne, who is a metaphysical poet and belongs to metaphysical school, and talks about the metaphysics because he tries to compare the human love with the equipments and instruments that we use in the engineering type of works. He has used strongly such kind of things in his poems for proving and showing the human relations even. In a poem, perhaps you have read The Flea. He says that if you want to understand the concept of marriage, it means that one time one mosquito has cut the body of the husband, and secondly it cuts the body of wife, and there is the intermingling of the bloods of the two partners. So it is the meaning of marriage, nothing else. What a strange kind of things are used for showing the nothingness of this materialistic world. The true word is the spiritualistic word. All the relations and all the funny things, petty things that we have around us, and in place of spiritual pleasure, if we use these things, then it is the greatest foolishness of the man. So be kind to the nature to understand the relations. Finally, you are sincerely are going to list down the elements of concept Camp 21, which are extracted from different religions with some added elements of modern relevance. Forward, some precepts existing in most religions, such as do not steal, do not murder, do not give false evidence, do not steal your neighbor, ox or ash have been left aside as these are better taken care of by the status, by the statues in every modern society. All complex metaphysical issues on ritualistic issue and precepts are best left in the realm of the respective religions. These 21 precepts given here are subject to refinement based on other matured inputs. Explanatory remarks with rational, scientific and philosophical views on some of the Camp 21 precepts wherever felt to be scientifically desirable or necessary are given on the following pages. These explanatory remarks form an integral part of Camp 21. The objective these remarks may serve is to make the generation next appreciate these precepts, unlike the case with many religious precepts where the youth express reservations. With these explanatory remarks, these 21 precepts may make better sense with the young also. The 21 elements of Camp 21 related to self. Follow the religion of your birth or upbringing and at the same time develop an understanding and appreciation about the purity and nobility of all other religions by acquiring basic knowledge on them. Next, number 2, discover, appreciate and further develop guidelines within yourself. Number 3 is be merciful towards all living beings. Number 5 is do not be greedy. Learn to be content, tolerant and flexible. Avoid taking extreme stances. 6 is avoid public display of your charity, good deeds, worship, devotion and so on. Next, number 7 is do not expect free gift or miracles by praying or otherwise. Consider hard work as worship, rewards should follow. Number 8 is keep away from all intoxicants and unnatural, exciting things such as alcohol, cigarette, drugs, gambling and so on. For your body's sake, it may be better to live a simpler life as a vegetarian and doing fasting as best as possible. Next, number 9 is be patient and tolerant. Be always a positive in your thinking, speaking and in your relationships with others. Next, number 10 is do not make presumptions about what is in other people's mind. The brain working overtime on behalf of others means without invitation or for yourself is of no good and is the root cause for most conflicts, whether at personal or social level or between countries. Do not spend time on non-creative and negative issues or thoughts. Related to others, 11 is do unto others as you would like others to do to you. 12 is respect everyone around you, particularly elders. Have no bias based on gender, color, creed, ignorance, religion and so on. 13 is obey your parents and love your spouse and children. 14 is do not hurt others emotionally by way of making fun, teasing, taunting and so on. In case someone gets hurt unintentionally, don't be miserly with the word sorry and mean it when you say it. 15 is help the needy, do good deeds, extend the best possible service and support to others, both material as well as emotional. 16 is be fair, kind, and just to others. Always avoid confrontational attitude. 17 is develop a forgiving nature, praise others as often and as best as possible. Real enemies exist only on the war front. In typical social milieu, only presumed enemies exist related to conservation of the environment. Next, number 18. Make best efforts and extend support towards increasing the green cover on earth. 19 is work towards conservation of flora and fauna. 20 is conserve energy and water and help recycling efforts in general so as to facilitate the conservation of nature's non-renewable resources. Avoid wasteful consumption. In fact, discourage consumerism. Next, 21. Reject products that can be directly or indirectly harmful to the environment. So, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, all the citizens of the world, those who are sharing, entertaining, joining this spiritual lesson and these spiritual words that are directed and indirected by the Lord Himself in the form of air, fire, soil, sky and water, all of you are enjoying. And God, who is always present with us in all the times because He Himself is immemorial. Actually, we cannot count His blessings. We cannot read, write, speak, listen, learn about these concepts because these concepts are beyond to reach, really implied, hidden, and that can be enjoyed only by the silent perceivers. But as per the thought, words, imagination that God has provided, I thank Lord in the service of humankind. We are listening these words for keeping our environment pollution free, for growing more and more trees in the form of nature. Really, it is wonderful time, wonderful place. God has provided us with 100% present sense of mind. We are enjoying every sound and ray of light. The God who is everlasting, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. We are enjoying His rays, His sound everywhere. Because God is God, Lord is Lord. He is the incomparable figure on this world. But in our relations, if we are true, we believe in my brothers and sisters of the world. We have the cosmopolitan outlook, international outlook that was provided by God. I thank again. Thanks, listeners and learners.